as to why AI may replace your job, but you'll still remain employed anyways. We, as humans, tend to have this fascination with never having to work for the rest of our lives and just sitting there in the lap of luxury. That never really comes to pass. It never really comes true. And there's a variety of reasons with it, but most primarily the reason why that will never come to pass, even if AI completely automates everyone's job, is the fact that people derive meaning and self worth through work. And even if that work is more expensive than what an AI could end up delivering, humans may still pay for it, and they will pay for it anyways, because it provides meaning for that individual to be able to do something and have meaning in their life. So, one of the interesting things that I was listening to not too long ago was from a AI expert who predicted that as AI automates more and more jobs, the work week will decrease, leaving people more free time that then they'll populate with hobbies or other things that they always dreamed of doing. And eventually we'd end up with universal basic income as a means of supporting people. And the way that income will be derived is through the fair New Deal and decentralized autonomous organizations or DAOs that which AIs are owned and then disseminate the profits to the people. Sounds communist in nature, and admit some pieces of it does sound communist by nature. But the whole premise of that argument that we'll have a fair new deal, that no one will work, that AI will do things better, and that humanity will be able to pursue what they've always dreamed of, is that it doesn't ever give humanity a chance. And as we know, humanity doesn't want to be left behind. They really want to be a part of the future. They don't want to be replaced by some cybernetic silicon based life form. And we see this most often, a mistake being made by futurists who assume that humanity will just quietly go into that night and accept what's coming to them. And there's no real appreciation for the fact that whenever there is a massive change, there's always the opportunity for whatever that change is being affected upon to react differently. And we see this in war all the time. Whenever you're coming up with a strategy and you war game things out, don't ever assume that the opposite side is always going to act in a certain way. That's too simplistic, because every time you do something in a war game, the opponents have the ability to not only respond, but respond with maximum effectiveness because they've had time to think through what you're doing and reply appropriately. And I see that same mistake of not thinking about how humanity will respond to AI replacing their jobs that AI futurists make all the time. So, what would the future look like if humanity gets a chance to respond to the automation of AI? And it will come in several ways. One, humanity will slow the adoption of AI artificially, but they will slow the adoption. And the reason why is we could already see this in the legal profession, in the medical profession. You can have an AI find relevant case law and find appropriate diagnoses for patients based off of a much more wider variety of information to accurately assess. But at the end of the day, it's the doctor's call. Even though the AI accurately diagnosed it, the gold standard for making a diagnosis is a human. Think about that for a moment. Despite the AI being better at maybe legals or better at diagnosing a patient, being able to factor in all relevant data without human biases, ultimately, at the end of the day, if you know whether or not to trust that diagnosis or whether it's official, is because the gold standard that the licensing agencies have said is a human stating this is so. So that's one way humanity will respond to AI coming for their jobs. Is yes, an AI could do it better, but we can artificially insert a human in to the decision making process to keep that human employed. And like I said, there is a variety of good reasons to keep humans employed. A lot of them is because people derive self worth from their work. And if they're able to continue working, they're going to be a lot more happier when they have something to do than when they don't. And this also from a policy perspective, too. If you have humanity with an overabundance of free time, they will start looking for problems, even if those problems don't exist. There is a reason why younger people go out and protest, why older people just vote. It's because younger people have a lot of free time on their hands, and so they go out looking for problems and they try and agitate for change without really thinking through what that agitation would mean in the long run. So, in a policy perspective, we have an incentive to keep people working on things they want to work on. So, having a lawyer assisted with AI, having a doctor assisted with AI is probably going to be a preferred policy path for a government that is implementing the fair deal. Now, I talked about the fair deal earlier, but I want to dive into it a little bit differently because, unlike the Square Deal from Teddy Roosevelt or the New Deal from Franklin Roosevelt, the fair deal is the idea that government isn't supposed to be responsible for everything, but it is going to ensure that as AI goes about massive disruptions in GDP and the economy, that the results born from that, the profits, because profits will go up, up, and up, are fairly distributed to the population so they have time to retool, reskill, or find some other purpose or meaning, a work practice that they could do where AI could complement them in the process. So I believe that's the fair New Deal that's probably coming sooner than you think. But it's all predicated upon the fact that at the end of the day, all the people who are predicting AI will replace humanity are counting humanity out. And they really, really should not, because humanity will respond. Like I said, with artificial limitations, they may respond by creating exclusions. So, what would an exclusion look like? Well, if you consider, like, I'm going to talk about protected origins. There's a thing in the EU called protected origin status, whereby only certain products are allowed to come from certain areas around the globe, or in particular, certain areas in the European Union. And you can't call something a particular name unless it comes from that particular origin. And so even if AI, in conjunction tied into robots, are able to do manual labor better than humans, we may create protected origin statuses where only, say, human picked grapes and a certain wine will be allowed to call that wine a certain way. And yes, is it a form of AI discrimination? Absolutely it is. Will it provide a gainful means of employment for people who may truly enjoy growing grapes? Absolutely. And I'm using grapes as an example, but you could use many different strategies or industries whereby you can have a boutique business where that name is associated with artificial restrictions on AI entering into that workplace. And that could be enforced through the government saying, hey, we hereby certify that this business used human labor in their processes. And even though they may cost more, People are going to choose those businesses because they want the experience. And experience based jobs will be something that, though AI can offer, humans will naturally, by being human, offer better. And the perfect example of that is, say, the massage industry. Yes, you could sit down in a massage chair. The AI could perfectly analyze your body and determine where the muscle sore points are, and then knead those areas with the machine tools that it has on hand. However, it's not going to be the same experience as human hands working on the same body, working on the same areas. And so people will want to visit places that give experiences like that where it's led by humanity. May AI help in other areas of the massage industry, like bookings or automating the setup, the onboarding process for getting clients in the door? Yes, sure, absolutely. But they may want the human experience of human touch and engagement. Can a robot waiter take your order better than a human? Absolutely. Will there be restaurants where there will be AI ordering machines? In fact, we're already seeing that right now. Of course, you could whip out your cell phone, place orders, and then it's delivered to your table. But people are willing to pay more to go to a fancier restaurant where a human waiter may come by with a very expensive dish and give you that entertaining service that you always want. And AI won't be able to intrude on that. So there's a place for co-compatibility with AI in the workplace as AI automates more and more. But like I said, don't ever discount humanity, because humanity will find ways to remain relevant. Despite all the doom and gloom that you hear that AI is coming for your job, listen up. Humanity will respond in a way that will be able to utilize AI but not throw humans out. That's all I got for you today. See you in the next one.